again, posting as a live insistence, not because it's something that I want to do. I'm literally being forced to do so out of literal, maybe some sort of evidentiary diary for my damn self. There's no aspect of law that's a joke that will do anything. I've stated in previous videos about the conditions about how my life is aspecting to be living that I've not aspectually vied into. I'm not sure of why it's going on. Well, I do know it's out of personal gain from organized criminal activity and the enterprise of integrated persons that are past acquaintanceships, people that know of past acquaintanceships in my life, past roommates of coercion, and by default of the systemic, horrific episode of the last 8 years of Hurricane Harvey, the inclusion of the most banal of people in professional clothes, and the literal joke of what could be, to me, some sort of investigations aspect. As I've stated, I don't need to continue to state what's, I've stated it enough for anybody that's trying to wonder by any point of which you are to come into this aspect to understand about what's going on. It's in past lives. It's in past shorts. I would try to create a aspect this shorter segment of a video so as to maintain some sort of semblance of my life, which has been long ago detached from human recognition because of organized criminal activity, stalking. It's not going to get any better, I think, and it's not. And the insistence suicide is the way to go. This is the only aspect to literally protect for my soul. It's not because of low self-esteem. I've been battling everything by myself, court aspects, logic aspects, continuing to survive cancer, continuing to push forth even when I couldn't walk, or any of these aspects. And it just, I keep trying and striving, but persons that are nothing, not a damn thing has ever happened to them, they don't have to try. They get to literally enact through bribery, starvation tactics, and take away from hardworking citizens. And this goes on through history. I'm not trying to aspect you should work hard and you should, that's not reality. The reality is that people that don't work hard and the people that work the hardest, you are the last in line, and people that do, and this is not to say that you shouldn't work. I mean, maybe if you do, but you will be more tired than anything else. You need to learn exceptions and loopholes. That's even in law. It's telling you to reserve and preserve your energy for something else. But I definitely think that a lot of people are suicidal in this state and in the city in particular, as I've not been all over the state, but I can only get enactions of what happens across all over the country from the different representatives, that aspect in this melting pot that is within the state that I've had a conclusion to talk to from different aspects of this that is going on. There's no aspect to help anybody get through this. I don't think that grown people would want, I wouldn't want any type of help, though asking for help is a sign of emotional esteem. But I'm being forced to ask for help outside of minding my own business, minding my own finances at the level that I'm at, and learning in order to go up a cycle and not to go down into a cycle that aspects liability towards my own future of aspecting in anybody grown adult towards retirement, especially if you're not rich. Even if you're rich, you have to aspect and learn so that you can keep afloat and stay among financial trends to keep proliferation of your assets, hard, liquid, or anything else. These adults that are enacted in organized criminal activity, that are starving individuals, that are pushing individuals out of habitation to lay in the woods and in streets, and have children that they are raising, as I've stated again in past lives, check those out. To aspect, I'm not going to go into everything about what I'm talking about. This is just yet another example how each a day Each day becomes more egregious and more outrageous. I'm tired of talking about the law. I'm exhausted with it. I'm tired of being. I didn't buy in to be a saint, be a class. I can't do anything else. It is so much irresponsible behavior of professional people that's. I have to remain. I have to speak reason into it. Otherwise, there's no such thing as a lawless society with even social constructs. This is the dismantling of society. And if the United States government does not understand that this is a national security problem at the insistence, it starts in these little enclaves, hubs, and neighborhoods, and then it gets into the town, gets into the city, it becomes cross regional. And I guess when it becomes an aspect that it reaches out per some journalist that's abroad, and then it becomes an embarrassment, then people in this country want to, if they can make a story about it and extort a story, then they want to talk about it. And I'm not stating that people that are journalists are the law. You can't do a damn thing if there's not apprehensions, and more so if a judge does not aspect and insistent of rebuke in order to stop all of these aspects that have been going on. Some of you understand these same concepts because they ensconce your life. And I'm aspecting it because it aspects mine to a gross degree. I'm tired of adults that are getting cars, allocations, and they are literally the most monstrous of criminals known to my the years that I've been living. I've never seen this shit in movies. I've never aspected it on reality shows. It's what I'm going through, and making light of it right now because I'm not going to continue. It's literally the most preposterous shit that is aspected of what. That's why I don't like modern. That word modern society. This is not modern. This is the Dark Ages. It's still the Dark Ages. That word is very much relative. There's an unreachable aspect of government that will never understand what the hell is going on in the territories again, unless it leaks out by some sort of abroad journalist, and then it becomes an aspect of embarrassment. But I would love to maintain or aspect my own habitability and not be pushed out of my own habitability by people that can't take care of their children, that think that they should enact fraud, and they're getting away with it. Everybody, the people that are star witnesses around, it's very evident. I want this over. I don't care about much more. There can't be much more evidence when I provide clear aspects for, and all the great, they have instruments to look at Pluto from NASA. You mean to tell me they have the Trump administration has drones that I would look, this city and other even smaller cities use drones as first responding aspects before they let humans get there. In normal police departments, I would love for a drone to capture the evidence for investigations so that we can wrap this up. And I don't have to worry about, I don't know what's going to happen next week. I don't know about my life living situations. If anything, I'm probably going to be to the woods or something. And this is no exaggeration. I've been left I've been thrown the hell out onto concrete hospital. Into the concrete jungle from hospitals by the most perverse of staff. Maybe this is, it's something that it's not some sort of hazing. It's not an aspect. It's EMTALA violations. It's not an aspect of, oh, let me build a case. It's egregious. I'm cancer surviving. I don't have low self-esteem. I have very much esteem. I've asked for help out of factors that cannot be sustained by myself. There's not one species that I know on Earth that is a singular species. Otherwise, it would have been wiped away from not aspecting biodiversity or an aspectual inclusion of trial and error and other aspects to then proliferate either its message, its genomes, or anything else. For a lot of people, and I guarantee you this year, the suicide rate in America needs to be evaluated to see how, because it's not woe is me. That would be some sort of mental delusion that these things can only happen to myself. I'm just gonna know that I'm bold enough to speak about it. Maybe there'll be change. I've been very hopeful for the last 8 years. If you've been on this journey and looking at what the hell is this man talking about over the last 8 months in particular, you see the steady decline of what I was talking about and what was happening. And it's happening with organizational genius, meaning it's allowed, not by normal civilians and normal people. Normal people can be controlled. They try to pick up normal people and put them in jail to get state aspected numbers. These are people in whatever quote unquote respectable positions. They go around and enslave the public through confinement, coercion, harassment, terroristic threats, and then they go home and feed their children with my money, your money, the working class's tax dollars, because the upper echelon are not getting taxed in this type of way. And then whatever philanthropic type is that you are garnering to aspects as a tax write-off for capital gains, and otherwise the wealthy set, that money gets then taken up by barbarism. Still, it's recycled back into it, so it doesn't go anywhere. If any funds have come towards myself, and I'm sure that aspects with my personal identifying information, I know so with mine and yours as well, as a mirror assets, correct? You have to read so much about what the hell things garner, especially as quantifiable asset instances that garner an obtainable measure, and it literally gets stolen through fraud. That means that there's nothing that can be, excuse me, I'm still chewing something, dead food. If you look on my bank ledger, that's available for 5 years, even after a closed bank account. Lost all cards, lost all bank accounts, lost all credit cards due to these conspirators within organized criminal activity, the statute, and racketeering. You can hit either one, and Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. I'm gonna keep saying it, even though there's not a goddamn thing about lawful measure that has occurred or will occur in the foreseeable future. That's continued injury. It is continued aspects that are facilitating criminal extortion, and I mark my words. Study the statistics for suicide this year in the United States, and in particular in this city, as it's a melting pot from people literally running from across the city. It's not called redistricting. Those are for government officials. It's called running for your functional life. You transport persons through coercion throughout the world, or throughout the United States. It should controlling what they eat, controlling if they are ensconced within gas chambers. It's called trafficking. But again, I'm very much tired of calling out the law that I've had to read, so that I just will understand what I'm going through, so that I'm not crazed and driven into oblivion. Suicide in this aspect is not out of low self-esteem, believe me. I'm tired of adults living like children, getting away with it, getting cars for it, getting allocations such as my living habitations and quarters for it, and myself being penalized for literally being a saint. And I can say that for the time in my life, I'm not even, I'm a saint. I have to be. I'm literally, and so I'm so confined and literally so handcuffed to this organized group's coercive bombardment or inundation, or it's not stopping. Hi, I'm not sure whoever you are. Hi, Gangstar. Hi, Brian. I am a human. You're very funny, Brian. I don't feel like laughing, or it's not a laughable matter. I'm literally enslaved. It's not. I'm serious, and I'm sure that it's going on, and I know that it's going on throughout the United States. There's nothing anyone can do about it. I'm prima facie aspectual evidence of this, and I mean, don't I seem a bit, I sound, I could be knowledgeable. Don't I seem like this? that means that a lot of other people are lost. They're literal cattle being led to the slaughter on this animal farm. George Orwell, I guess, tried to tell us, for some of us that read that book in middle school, I just didn't think that, this metaphorical impressionism upon the human social construct in the United States would be aspectual beyond a novel of what could be aspected in this quote unquote modern insistence per any aspectual social construct to be literal adhering to these different prejudices and non-compliance aspect of willful ignorance. It's going on when as an adult you don't have 50 cents in your pocket to buy lemon, lime, or peach, and you're being starved so that you can aspect bodily wasting, sarcopenia, wasting of muscles, so that you can aspect different your bone matrix can literally leach out and take from your body what it needs because it's not being aspected per nutrition. You can't eat dead food. These are things that people that are cyber stalking and the organized criminal activity and people that I have named in past lives, that if they're not involved, they definitely have acquaintanceships, persons who are involved because they're running out of money and they don't have any place to. And so through delusionality, Mr. Sase, this is delusional. These persons think that they were to go and take over another tax viable person's place of habitation, stop their food allocations to give it to their own persons of privy choice. There needs not to be any other aspects of myself aspecting any evidentiary insistences. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of being used as some sort of mascot punching bag. It's not about I would like an aspectual life. I'm literally the definition of being enslaved. Check out the rest of the videos to insist upon it. I mean, it's literal, and this is just from what you people have seen on this particular platform. Oh, it's integrated. I plan on making some aspectual book about it because this is one of the most alarming aspects of quote unquote modern construct in this United States aspect within this city that's inclusive in this union that I think will be of my lifetime. I mean, the next step, I guess, is to put myself in a crate barrel. And now these things that people are literally chained to walls is very much, it's a reality. But it's a process. It's a spiral into Dante's Inferno, into this hell that because of being unchecked, it happens. It's going to continue to happen. They're going to continue to be these weird aspects of you people higher. Artificial intelligence needs to hurry up and take over the United States. And that's what it's insisting that it is aspected. They said that this is going to take over a lot of people's jobs. It needs to. AI has a lot less artifice and nuance than humans. There should be aspects of accommodation for both aspects of human and or AI to modulate each other. But most humans that are in these jobs, humans have ruined my life. I don't think it's been the computers or the machines. The computers and the machines, just like the Japanese children, are what I've had to aspect to keep me afloat, just from literally, going off the deep end to learn about what these aspectual monstrous humans have been doing that are my past acquaintances, weird family members, their weird sexual liaisons, people enacting these weird crimes of passion, jealousy is a green monster, or to covet is what it is aspected. To want something or think that you delusionally, entitlement, deserve something without having done the deserved aspectual work it is required to get such a thing, such an attribute, such a quality, or common sense to maintain a substantial or a functional life as an adult, and you did nothing but sit down and look up in the sky and I don't know, did a rain dance. It is the superstition of it all. And then we like to call this segment of what we're living in, and it's modern. That's not modern. These people are superstitious. They think that you can go out, do a rain dance, or just sit and wish, and things fall into your lap like money, my resources, other people's resources, my tax or income tax, my any type of allocation that has my personal identifying information on it. That's it, beyond delusionality, beyond superstitious. It's fraudulent. It's a crime. But when you prostitute yourself out to businesses, and I don't have a problem with legitimate prostitutes, but don't call legitimate prostitutes as a problem when some of you show up to work to prostitute, and that is and extort other people's information, harvest, put people's information, and you purposely show up to do these matters, and then you go home and feed your kids my food, use my iron cast skillet from my living quarters. I don't want it back. I don't want anything that you touch. Even though iron rust, I hope it rusts these persons out. But these people are so evil. They have no human genotype that it seems like they will. Oh, let's see. They are human. That's why they would like you and my liver. They've drank themselves into an oblivion. They use hard liquor, and they're wasting themselves away. So they want to waste myself away and your family members away, because it's going to be someone that I tell you people to listen to what I'm stating to you, so that when someone tells you and describes these various types of things, and some of you may have heard about it, you don't dismiss them as aspecting that it could not happen to someone like you. I never thought this in a million years would be happening to myself. I thought that I had promised, just like a lot of people in my quadrant. I mean, I'm by this point an entire Lifetime movie. Hi, Eric. Hi, the rest of the other people. As I've stated, when someone, if, and I have told other aspects to tell this, I would have never wanted to tell and talk about all of anything. I'm just very reserved. I never thought that life would get this bad. I've never had a suicidal ideation in my life. I used to always, even on platforms, I used to always say it's a blast to be me. At my little level, whatever I'm aspect, I'm like, I'm content and trying and working and do at whatever it is I'm trying to work at or towards, like most people. And because it's what you don't know anything else that you've never had. And especially if someone's not hunting you down like you are wildlife in the Serengeti, like, you think that, you're good. You can aspect to be happy or at least be functional when it's time for you to be functional, to aspect what a living and take care of yourself until retirement. And then, hopefully you have something to pass down to someone else or give a story to teach. Even I didn't think the stories would be this horrific. As I've stated, suicide in some aspects is so people can literally stop what will never be fixed after nothing, and no aspect of nothingness is the pervading influence. I never aspected that in the United States there will be total lawlessness. I don't want to be the punching bag example anymore. That's why I'm talking out in the most absurd ways. I'm tired of aspecting, and when I spoke for people that couldn't speak for themselves, I wasn't expecting anything in return. I just didn't know that I would be literally, I would lose my entire normal functional life. I've been doing this for the last 8 years, and I don't want to continue. I keep preaching for myself to aspect. In the country that I was born, I have to literally escape it by the hair of my chinny chin. Like, and it's very much a reality. This sort of coercion is unparalleled. I hope that your families are safe as they can be from electronic warfare. Psychological war is the new aspects of World War III. to inundate a society that they cannot bear arms in the aspect of your Second Amendment rights. So if there is an aspect of some sort of foreign invader or Lord beholden, the distraction of an alien, Independence Day, right? Where's Will Smith when you need him? That they come, that you can aim up at some sort of aircraft and like shoot out a gasket or something, and then help the Marines help you. No, no, no. The entire American population is going to be so inundated with literal psychological dependency, and everyone has literally been through an aspect of reverse communism, aspect to not be able to bear arms. It's an illusion of constitutionality, unconstitutional aspects, and no one's doing anything about it. And there's also an aspect that there's not an urgency. Slowness and weakness cost lives. That you're not acting quick enough, NSA and everyone else, to understand that this is a national security emergency. Again, I hope that I can not be relegated into the woods by next week or something. I hope that bribery stops occurring so that I can at least functionally take care of my life, so that I can at least buy me a meal to eat that is living food. You cannot live off of carbohydrates, not refined carbohydrates. You wouldn't feed your children this. You wouldn't feed your brother, your sister, your cousin. Some of you do, but once you know better, you would do better, and that's us all. And aspecting anything that is cyber stalking so as to interfere within your device, be it Mac, computer, cell phone, so as to then discover through electronic data tampering and phishing mechanisms, PHISHING, what it is that you aspected to proliferate yourself as a person, so that you're functionally able to earn or have earning capacity that's not obstructed by an inability of understanding nutritional aspects. Because truly, if you don't, you will deplete and die, and your bones will start to leach out, as in what happens with osteoporosis. It's not for old people, that's any age. And you're not effective. And you have passive aggressive persons who don't want to be the culprit of outlandish, literal, aspectual murder, but a slow execution of the body's resistance to be weakened. And now someone that's your previous work colleague, someone you may have went to school with, someone that's your alumni, someone that's your brother, sister, someone that they know, their liaison, somebody that they married, got into your family. Now they're involved in this systemic trap of oppression and continued slavery. We will aspect of I've not felt not as American. I don't think that there's anything that's American that's been going on. It's literally enslavement. And July 4th is aspecting upon us, and the threshold has reached a pinnacle point of literal slavery all over again. Because instead of remembering and calibrating as we try to aspect other nations, I wish we would do what's going on over in Israel, or whatever they've helped to free these people, and whatever types of Middle East aspects, because it's not going on here. And do you know, once you're, it's people, I mean, maybe they are cutting hands off and cutting heads off in other countries. I've not really heard about it, but we are sleeping outside and in the woods and eating dead foods with the illusion of fullness, enacting slow execution of bodily processes and the slowing down of mitochondrial processes, so that you cannot think, you cannot resist, and that you cannot be a voice to anybody that may be aspecting these issues that are going on towards themselves. Again, hi, Eric Hartman. When someone talks about these issues to some of you, you may sometimes be the last voice or last person that is aspected before a person's decline into their death or suicide. Not all people are committing suicide because they are unhappy. They are unhappy. They are unhappy, not functioning as an adult within society because of barbarism and organized criminal activity. As I've stated, suicide is the only way to go from here for most of us. The American government or the state's government has not helped quick enough. Slowness and weakness cost lives. I got that quote from watching Discovery Channel, watching wild animals. In this insistence, if animals were to wait this long, it would be a slow aspect of instinct that knows that their young would be killed instantly by predators, that their meal would be literally taken away, and what they have needed to aspect nutrition so that they can feed their young with milk would not be realized, and then their child could die. The proliferation of their species would aspect to an end, and the will to continue per species is innate and profound. And this is not aspected in the same way in this country, and particularly this city. I've not been all over the country, but Lord knows, I sure hope for national security reasons that it's not the same way, and that there is some sort of, and like everyone, let me be delusional right now. Let me be superstitious. I really hope that some form of the executive branch or some enactment of the state governor enacts whatever different mechanisms of departments that are going in. Again, civilians, that's a quick aspect of control if they would start making sure that you fund Homeland Security. Democrats and everyone else, stop having party wars and playing chess games with people's lives just because they don't eat at the same $300 plate aspects that you're using to eat your steaks off, and can use it as a business aspect under business, and then it gets written off, and then that you go home, you go home full. You won't be starving tonight like some of us will. It's not hazing. This is not a ritual. I don't think that I aspected to be going into a fraternity insistence that I've signed up for. You got to sign up for that type of stuff. From like to project and this current scheme of phase, I don't think that slavery. Last time I checked, I guess the stylizing type of slavery is supposed to have been aspected to end. We see how this is not the case, as in Nazi Germany, that happened in the 20th century. That seems so horrific. You would think that, oh, this has to be something that's an enactment of the Dark Ages. How can it occur in the 20th century? Is a modern, you remember this quote unquote, a modern construct, and it happened because of relegations unchecked that started as private instances maneuvering throughout these hub spaces and neighborhoods and towns, meetings and aspects, getting into the city state, and then inundating regional aspects, and then the entire country, to then have a construct to become a global problem, as is the insistence of global and transnational human trafficking, either of organs, of intimate acts for profit, and or coercive control. I hope that I not thrown into aspects. I've been running for my functional life for the worst. I mean, this is the worst it's been in the last 8 months. I've lost every single thing. I think I had more money as a teen. I'm sure I had more money as a teenager. Some of you, I think that your children have more money than I do right now that you've given them for allowances. Like, I think that they've eaten more food than I've eaten in the last few days. having flare-ups and breakouts, because it's not, you can't eat anything you want and think that your body's not going to go into some sort of systemic shock and let you know about what's. We're grown people, we don't get pimples. You go through hormonal shock when your thyroid can't communicate because of having misfires and not regulating in the appropriate ways. This happens with nutrition. These perpetrators know this. This is what I try to become knowledgeable about so that I do better, just like everyone else. Once you just learn a little bit more. It's not a joke that I've been aspected, and the persons within this enterprise have tried to kill me. I'm sure they've been trying to kill a few of you as well. It's not just me. I'm so used to it by now that it's created this stoic source of numbness. Keep aspecting, trying to do, I don't know what it is. I think when you can only do things like heal your body, especially when you're cancer surviving and you can't be all over the place. You're trying to preserve energy. I'm not trying to be cool about something that's called delusion. The moment we enact some sort of act of propulsion to fight back, that's when it's a problem. The moment everyone else starts money laundering so that they can just functionally live and get the rest of this fake money that everyone else is inflating, then it's a problem. Because no one acted quickly enough. And weakness and slowness cost lives and is a matter of national security. I'm done now. I have to give another example of what is not stopping an insistence of evidentiary claim before an insistence continues within my functional life. By the aspects of next week, I insist upon aspecting an attorney amicus or somebody to insist upon making sure, and in the instances, that mitigating factors and reasonable mindedness are adhered to within your professions. But I don't know, let me be superstitious again. Let me be prophetic. I don't think that this is going to be happening. It would seem like it would have to be an act of Zeus or somebody for this municipality or the persons that are literally acting in it, that are acting in concert more than three, so it's organized criminal activity, calling out the law, and it's just not, it's not happening. I don't know, what cycle are we in at this, I know it's, every 3 months or something. I would like a cyclone to come make sure that and send the bill collectors that are acting all of my damn bills to make a true bill. Good day.